Recently, I was on the Thomas Brush podcast talking about the value of developing for game consoles and PlayStation more specifically. And Thomas looked at me and said this.
I wanted to talk about this during the podcast. I want to get advice from you, honestly, because
And then I got tons of comments like these. After chatting with people who watched the video, it brought a few things to my attention. I realized that as surprising as it might sound, developing for game consoles was a bit of a foreign concept for many developers online. So in this video, I'm going to show my actual examples of my games on console versus Steam. I'm not going to front and pretend I'm some successful game dev millionaire.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
But I have sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of indie games at this point, and most of my games are $5 or less.
I've only got 7.
So hopefully you can find some value out of my statistics. So first we are going to jump right into some examples. Here are a few of my successful games: Maze, Tilting Tiles, and The Letter. As you can see from the Steam store pages, they each have a positive review rating. Now let's jump right into the analytics. Let's start with Tilt. $299 gross revenue, 168 units sold with a 6.5% return rate, and a median playtime of 29 minutes. Honestly, that's not too bad of stats for the game, but after you take Valve's 30% cutout and you take the $100 game fee that it took to put the game on there, that leaves me with about $60.
Disappointed!
Keep in mind that this money will also be taxed. Now, I can't give out PlayStation or Xbox sales figures due to NDA, so I would just ballpark some figures for you so you can get a rough idea. Keep in mind that whatever I'm ballparking out there, I've probably sold above that. There's not a cap on what I'm telling you, so that way you can just get a picture in your mind that it's in this range. So this puzzle game that I actually love and I have a lot of fans that love made less than $500 on Steam, but is a 5-figure game on PlayStation Network. Next, let's look at the infamous title, The Letter. We're doing a little better this time. We're at $527 of gross revenue with 440 units sold, with a 5.9% return rate and a 27-minute median playtime. These Steam numbers are getting a little bit better, but are they going to pay the rent?
I'm trying to figure that out, okay?
Not in this economy. This same exact game was well into the 5 figures for Wii U and the 5 figures for PlayStation. Alright guys, let's move on now for Maze. This is a puzzle game for me. We have a bit better figures. We have $974 of gross revenue, 314 units sold, a return rate of 4.5%, and 29 minutes of median playtime. Once again, this game is over 5 figures on PSN, and honestly, I don't have all of the data for the Wii U version anymore, but it also did quite well. Now, we'll use one of my most popular games ever to bring this comparison to home, Maze Pedestal of Trials. This is a sequel to the original Maze that I just showed you, and it's a first-person puzzle adventure game where you solve your way out of 3D mazes. Pretty simple concept that most people can grasp, and a lot of people really enjoyed this game. Let's take a look at the Steam stats. $195 gross revenue, 171 units sold, a 2.3% return rate, 39 minutes median playtime, and 14 positive reviews on this one on Steam. This example really puts it into perspective for me. People really like the game. The game is cheap at only $2.99, has a super low return rate, and a higher playtime average than my other games on Steam. If you take out Valve's cut and the game fee of $100, I'm left with about $36.50 roughly.
I can almost taste it.
Let's cut to PSN. It looks like similar stats, but even better. 57 ratings, averaging above 4 stars. This is another 5-figure game for us. This game only costs $2.99, and we're talking about revenue in the 5 figures. A lot of people have bought, played, and enjoyed this game. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars on just PlayStation, and that does not include Xbox, Wii U, or Atari VCS, and I've only made a few $1,000s on Steam. At this point in the video, I'm sure everyone can draw their own conclusions, but I will give you a few of my thoughts and opinions on this data just in case you guys are interested, because there are quite a few ways you can interpret this. But I hope that this is helpful information to you. Here are my key takeaways. Devs online act like Steam is where you have to be in order to make money to be full-time, but it's not. Steam is a crowded marketplace and has more competition. Releasing small games on Steam is not a very good strategy because the $100 game fees really add up and eat into your profits. Steam users prefer certain genres of games, and your game might not be a good fit. Steam's success is largely based on an algorithm. If you don't have the marketing juice or an unbelievably unique game, your game will most likely fade into obscurity. Just because you release a game on console with potentially more visibility does not mean it will automatically sell. I've seen tons of console games completely bomb, with my games included in that, and other developers' games who've shared their stats with me. Console is more difficult and more expensive to dev for overall, but it is an extremely viable and actual marketplace where you can make full-time income on your games. If you guys found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Eli and I run an indie game studio called TreeFall Studios. Mostly we take a look at my games and the journey of my games development on this channel. I post devlogs and trailers and that sort of thing, but I also do game development tips and talks videos like this when you guys are interested. Before we go, I got to give a huge shout out to everybody who supports TreeFall Studios on patreon.com, and I got to give a personal shout out to PLP, Shark and Minnow, Space My Name, and Thomas Stewart. Thank you guys for what you do for TreeFall Studios on patreon.com. I really couldn't do what I do without you guys. It means a whole lot. If you guys are interested, you can check out the Patreon page in the description below. Also, we have a free Discord that you can jump on in if you want to ask me questions and just hang out with other TreeFall tribe members. All right, guys, I hope you found this video interesting. I'll catch you guys in the next one.